Today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode it was extremely eventful, as we saw the Great Anatolian War, and the Anatolian Empire died. And now we have entered from the medieval age into the era of colonization. If you guys enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe, it helps out a lot and you'll never miss one of these in the future. But yeah, let's just get into the video now. I do want to quickly note something. In the last video I said the red team had 2 capitals, but I decided to give it back to the old one just because it looks way better. And also, they just wanted to be very historic to the red team. They claim to be the exact same country, even though they're not really. Their governments aren't really the same, and yeah, they're just kind of pretty much a successor to the red team. They were sort of the red team, but yeah. If you remember back in actually the War of Succession, this like line rebellion that kind of existed around here, I think I'll flash it up on screen if I can find it one sec. But it's kind of that country, but they claim to now be the full red team. They did want to form the Red Republic around Metopian areas, but then the powers of the world decided to occupy the red team and Caspia. And I actually need to say some stuff about that one sec. The reason they didn't decide to occupy Albania and only the red team in Caspia was because these two were the main, I guess, contributors to the War of Succession. Even though Albania was involved, it wasn't really their fault for being involved. The red team, it was Caspia, not really, but they still did bad things. And the world just did not want anything like this to ever happen again, even though the Anatolians did have that happen again. Very similar to what happened with World War III in 1866, so when the old empire got divided. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, but it was in an earlier time where the Anatolians, instead of like being very recent, this is ancient times, and the Anatolians went out and did loads of things. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to say one sec, just to show you guys, or tell you guys more information about what happened. Also, there was the Crimea thing over here, and there was a very big disagreement, because these guys begged for Crimea. They just wanted Crimea so badly. They did actually agree to split it, and they said that they split it something like this, in where they get their capital, or their old capital back, and Russia pretty much gets the rest of it. But the Russians, who are one of the big powers in the world, or the war and the peace treaty, obviously decided no, as now they managed to outvote the Caucasians, or the Ukrainians. I'm just going to start calling them Ukraine now, because they are technically. Not in real life, but they do own areas that the Ukrainian country used to own. They're actually the exact same colour now as well. In which I believe that Ukraine looked something like this back in the day. Didn't have actually Romania, but they probably looked something like this, with less land in Caucasia. So basically they were like all of this pretty much. So that's what Ukraine used to look like. Anyway, let's actually get into an event now, as something quite interesting is going to be happening over here. We're actually going to see a purchase being made. Now post-war, it wasn't too great for the economy. Obviously, the Anatolians died, although they weren't the greatest economy power in the world. They definitely were a pretty big contributor. And that's not put the world in the Great Depression. It's something that happened with the red team in Caspia, but it's not. It's just a bit bad. But it's more bad for Hungary, because their fronts in the war was one of the most costly fronts. They were spending a lot of their money, and they are very actually like they're very unstable with cash right now. So they're going to make a deal with the Russians. And the deal they make is a couple of million, I guess, what would be a couple of $1 million in our universe, for all of this land here, and the Russians will accept it. This is quite valuable farmland in this universe. And it also doesn't look horrible now, the border looks a lot better. Speaking of the border, I did make it a bit different off camera. I changed a few promises because it looked a bit too round, like it did look a lot like this, and I didn't like that. I actually didn't think it was going to match what Hungary is supposed to be, which sounds weird, but it didn't look right, so I changed it a bit. We're also going to see Hungary sell some land to Romania. So we see this sale happen where Romania will be able to get all of this land, and this is helping the economy a lot. As this again was some pretty valuable lands, they sold over for, I used anti-arson, oh god. But this is going to be nice for the Hungarians. They are a bit more relaxed now with their economy. It just works a lot better. Anyway, now we just go a little bit more east to Russia, as they're going to have a new... actually, you looked at the ideology layer. As this is extremely outdated, like, oh my god. I have to spend some time editing these layers, but obviously, as we can see, the 2 countries over here don't exist anymore. They are now no longer dictatorships. So yeah, I know that. But as we can see over here now, the ideology layer is pretty much updated. I didn't do Central Asia originally. This African country now has one. Actually, for some reason this French one didn't have one, and they're a democracy, but yeah. All these countries are monarchies. They would have made them into democracies, but some of them... Actually, no. I'm going to say the Turkish country here decided to become a democracy. As we can see, Constantinople was actually a flawed democracy. That's what I want to give to also this state here. They are both flawed democracies. That's because democracy ain't really an idea yet, but it's going to start to be an idea if I can actually, erase some of these old ones, because some of them are very, very old, which definitely should not exist anymore. I like this pink one over here as well, so yeah, they don't exist. Oh, and a big thing now, the first superpower, not super, but the first big power to become a democracy is going to be Japan, as they will switch successfully to one. But anyway, taking a break from ideologies, something quite interesting can happen in terms of colonization. As we see India or Sri Lanka down here, there used to be the Indian Empire, which was, it had quite a lot of land. It looked, I think, something like this. It was a very large and influential empire around the time, about a couple hundred years ago at this point. And they are the true successor and have just been chilling in Sri Lanka ever since the fall of their empire. But they are going to kind of start to send some naval expeditions out, to trade a bit. They have stuff going with Japan, obviously. They're going to try to trade with them, maybe even into Southeast Asia. They probably have stuff going over in this country as well. So they're setting up a pretty nice trade network around Sri Lanka, and it's going to make them pretty rich. One of their boats is going to go and drift offshore a little bit down here, and they're going to keep going for a while until it lands in Australia. It's going to land here in Australia, which I've got to do this real quick. But it's going to land in Australia, and it's going to start to, I guess, go around a little bit around the coast, around here. And it's just going to chill, and they aren't going to consider themselves part of the Indian country or the Sri Lanka. Instead, they're just going to be their own country down here. So I guess we have our first country in Australia-ish, but it's not really. It's more just people. They're like just a tribe-ish country. Not really tribe, but like they're city-ish. So yeah, pretty cool. Also around this area, we see Japan come out and they colonize into Java now, taking over the whole island chain and just island in general, and taking over a lot of these smaller ones as well. And they are becoming quite predominant over here in the Indonesian area. And they are starting to now keep exploring these islands, discovering a lot of them around here, and they are like just taking up on land and being quite rich, they're quite good. Anyway, going back to Russia, I was going to say something about them earlier in this video, but I got a bit sidetracked with ideology, but I'm going to say it now. But Russia is obviously a dictatorship, and they are going to get a new leader, and they are quite sought out on expansion. And they just defeated an expansionist power in the Anatolians, but they kind of want to, I guess, just expand their country a bit and gain lands that they've lost. Not lost, but gain new lands as well. They feel like Russia has been cheated in their history. They say that they've lost too much land and gain it back, and they want to keep a stable, big empire, which will last for, I guess, ever. And what's going to be happening is the Russians are going to be invading the gold team here. The gold team has had time to establish itself around this area, and they are a decently strong nation, but they're not just going to be facing the Russians, which they couldn't hold off anyway, but they're also going to be facing the Lime team here. And the Lime country is going to invade into the exclave first, and also start an invasion into the actual country, getting pretty close to the city, but then the Russians are going to panic a bit and grab it themselves because they're Russia. And they're going to get a solidity front across the entire border, capturing the capital, and eventually we see these guys surrender. And the peace treaty is going to look something like this, as the Russians will take this land here, and the Lime country will take the rest of this. So nice. We can also say adios to this capital, and the Russians have expanded into more land. Anyway, let's get back to the Americas, as we're going to see quite a big event happen, as the Portuguese and the French are going to explore a bit, but then eventually they meet up with each other, and it's just like, what? Because, I mean, they don't really understand each other, they don't have the same language, but at the same time, they do kind of, I guess, I understand a bit. They do have a translator, not translators, but they have people who understand both languages, and they'll be able to kind of communicate, and they're going to just say, like, oh yeah, we've heard about this place, we came over here, that's what the French say, and then the Portuguese will be like, well, we were here first, so why are you taking our continent? And they're just going to be both leaving this, I guess, conference thing with a bit of a sour taste in their mouth. But anyway, we do see more colonial expansion here, as the Portuguese are going to expand or explore a lot more of the central area or the Midwest. And they find a load of corn over here, and start to go down the coast of Texas as well. And yeah, I'm going to say they pretty much know about the whole Caribbean Sea at this point, and they know about this country as well. So they're going to force it to help them explore a bit more of Central America. Now they go down into Panama, and also meet around here. We're seeing colonization ramp up a lot around these times, because it's, the big threat in Europe has just been defeated, and they're thinking, hey, there might be a lot of stuff out here. And they're getting a lot of resources, which like sugar and stuff, and they got a big sugar colony over here. This country, yeah, they're still sending a lot of slaves to all the Europeans, so they are profiting off that tremendously. And they kind of like have like the triangle thing going on from like here to here, and they're making a lot of money selling all this, all their sugar and crops and stuff, like different vegetables, to the Europeans, and they are just doing quite well economically, so they're going to decide to expand. And the Portuguese are going to take all of this, quite a bit of land. And obviously there aren't enough straight lines yet, so let's take a look at that. And I've got the first instance of straight lines have been used here, as they just don't really care about this border, so they're going to use straight lines. I do have a rivers layer, but like, I'm just going to delete that. No! Oh, I messed up, guys. Series over, sorry, we're just going to have to restart. Just kidding, just delete this layer. Yeah, fine, okay, let's go. But the French are also going to decide to expand. Surprisingly enough, they're going to meet up with the border of Portugal here and decide to just take a bit of land like this. And they're going to expand, and they're also going to take out this tiny country over here, and they're starting to start some beef. The beef will be about a few islands. They can agree that this one is obviously going to go to France, and this one down here is obviously going to go to Portugal, but they can't agree on this one until Portugal just comes up and snags it. This is going to make France very mad, so they'll decide to line the border up with troops. Yeah, definitely a very good idea there. And Portugal will be like, why are you doing this? You know, we are now in what is one of the most powerful alliances in the world. We've got to update the alliance layer. Oh my god. I'll do it after, too lazy right now, but yeah. And the French are going to be like, oh, no. Well, you may think again. Because even though the Triangle team and the French and Dutch have kind of gotten into some beef recently, they'll both decide with quite a split vote, actually, amongst the people. They're doing this kind of democratically. But they will decide to join the Triangle Alliance. And you may say, why are they doing this? Like, the Dutch just got in a war with the Germans in the last video. And I'm saying that because these two, obviously, they're not a big fan of the Germans, but they know that colonization is a very important thing that has to happen, so yeah, they're going to join in this. I don't know why I'm explaining it so poorly, so yeah. But this is my plan all along. I didn't actually plan for this war to happen, so that's probably my bad for this, but yeah. But they are going to just join this alliance in hopes of getting in the good side of Germany now, as they are. Actually, I'm going to actually do power rankings in a second, and I'll do that in a bit. Yeah, I never ended up actually doing it, so like, yeah, but I'm just going to do it now instead. I can't actually zoom up because otherwise, you know, it's going to spoil a bit, like, not letting you guys see that because it's spoiling later in the episode. But let's just do power rankings. So number one in the world is actually going to be Japan after the War of Succession. After the anti-expansion war, they actually became a lot more powerful. And I'm already spoiling later in the episode, but yeah. But yeah, they just became a lot more powerful, and yeah. Number two then is actually going to be China. These two are big Asian superpowers at the minute, so cool. Number three then is going to be Germany. They have just built, they gained a lot of land actually, from Poland, and there was other land as well, so yeah. Number four is going to be Italy then. Number five will be Russia. They gained also a lot of land from the war, but yeah, they're just really strong. Six is going to be Portugal, as they have just, you know, just done extremely well. 7 is going to be the British Union. 8 is actually going to be Egypt somehow. That's just pretty cool. Sorry, I mistaked. 8 is actually Persia. They haven't really moved up because the Anatolians, you know, they moved up just because of the Anatolians, that's it. Number 9 is going to be Egypt then. I messed up there. And on number 10 is going to be the French. The Dutch are a little bit behind the French, so yeah. But with the maybe 15, you know, these guys would be 11. Then I say probably the Dutch are number 12. Number 13 would probably go over to Hungary. They would probably have the French Union at number 14. And then I'm going to say the red team is the 15th strongest country in the world. So that's the power rankings. I've leaked a lot of stuff, but hey, who cares? But they just want to get on the good side of this country and hopefully get more things from them. But it's going to really anger the French Union, so what are they going to decide to do? They're going to decide to full on leave the Triangle Alliance. Now you may be asking why. That's because they hate the French and the Dutch. Oh no. I had a thought for a second that my mic wasn't going to plug in, I was going to crash out, but they hate the French and the Dutch so badly because they are actually a breakaway from the French, and these two just have a mutual hate for each other. So what's going to happen now? Well, the French Union is going to join the Diamond Alliance, and they're welcomed in with open arms from Italy, but Portugal don't really get a vote, and they're going to be like, huh? But yeah, they just made their alliance a bit more powerful, and they're also going to get another member. They regained Carthage as an ally, even though they literally did bad things to them. They're also going to get the blue Turkish country over here as an ally in their alliance. They obviously border them, technically, so yeah, they're going to do quite well. Obviously, the Diamond Alliance started to grow into a pretty big Mediterranean pact. I guess you could call it the Mediterranean Pact, even though the French Union don't border America, but the French Union is a lot. They just joined for protection against the Diamond or the Triangles. But yeah, let's get actually back to colonization quite quickly, as there's going to be stuff happening. I'm just going to add in a few major cities, one sec. But another country is going to be joining the colonization, and that is going to be the Dutch, as they make a landing over Nova Scotia, and they manage to take basically the whole. They managed to explore the whole thing quite quickly. But the Dutch are going to colonize the rest of Nova Scotia, or I guess Nova Hollandia in this universe. Oh god, I just had flood mode on. Oh, like half the countries in the world have just been turned into orange. But the Dutch this time are going to successfully take over, and not take over like half of the world. I guess the quick Dutch conquest, but didn't fail, and was also not part of the timeline because that's not real. But they're going to take that non-canon event not happening, and yeah, we're just going to see the Dutch actually be helped by the French, so they managed to meet up now. And they're going to continue up this over here, and they want to get into this area in Quebec. The British Union have told these guys about it now, they're in the Triangle Alliance, so they want to get into Quebec. They kind of know where it is, so they're kind of going west, because they know the British Union is a bit west. They've met up around this point, and Germany's also going to get on this. And like I said, colonization becoming extremely big, as Germany will manage to discover actually all of Newfoundland. And they all decide to let themselves have a little bit of land, won't they? So they'll colonise this whole thing. The Germans have now taken the whole thing, and the Dutch will continue colonising. Now meeting up with this area here, and starting to go along until they finally make it into Quebec and meet up with the British Union and discover the rest of New Brunswick. Colonisation is getting a lot hyped for, as the French will discover a lot more. Same with the Dutch, and as you can see, it's starting to get quite good. And a new country is now going to be colonising as well. As over here in East Asia, Japan is really hyping up the colonisation of Siberia, and they kind of go along the island chain and manage to meet up around here, and they'll start to discover these islands, and they will make a crossing into Alaska. I think it's just a really big island, but it's not actually, and we'll see now. As they discover it, and then they start to explore a bit more, and they're like, yo, we found a whole new continent over here, and they are overjoyed by this. They think they've got a completely new continent. If you think about it, this kind of is one, because like, this is miles away. Hold up. So if I compare it to one sec, this is the distance from Morocco to Greenland, so yeah, it is quite far away. And it's pretty much the entire, like, half the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, that's basically another continent. So yeah, we're going to now take a break from colonisation and go to something else. And there's a few more countries being created. As we see this green country here get created, as well as more, like I said, exploration into the Siberian areas, which is going to result in the Lavender Baikal country expanding. As they take all of this land here, and they are now looking like a square. Japan is also going to try and connect this. And finally we see the connection of, I guess, the Manchurian colony to the Siberian colony, and they are now pretty united in connection. And yeah, Japan is really starting to become a colonizer this universe. They are the Asian colonizer. And we are going to see a bit of a sort of country pop up in the mountains actually. But over here we're going to see some mountaineers set up a small country right here. And it's going to expand extremely quickly. They're going to take all of this land in a matter of years. We call it unhealthy expansion, but these guys are technically an empire, and they have a bit of an influence over this country and a few tribes in these Himalayas. Let's see, we get a starter pack now. And they are, I guess, like the Inca of the old world in a way, as they are pretty much building the cities in the mountains, and they are cool. So imagine like the Inca if they were in the old world. I did want Brazil to kind of be like an Inca, but they are more not like the Inca in a way, politically, but they're more just like the strongest country in South America. But yeah, so pretty cool, nice, I guess. I'm also going to see a connection here because this looks terrible. As this looks terrible, but they're going to divide the rest of this Manchurian area here. As Japan is going to take all of this and make them a lot thicker. Korea will definitely get the smallest claim, getting all this, and they can no longer expand anywhere. Japan, oh no, not Japan, China is going to get all of this. And the rest is going to be claimed by this country. We're going to see some major cities be built now. As we are now in the late 1400s, getting close to the 1500s, which is when colonization really started to ramp up, so yeah. And I guess you can make a few comparisons to countries in the real world. Like, I'd say the Anatolians were kind of like a Mongol empire in a way, except a lot different in terms of policy. And actually, there's something I need to talk about really quickly. That's what's known as the anti-genocide project. And what this is basically a re-genocide into the old religion areas of the red and blue teams. And we'll see what that looks like now. And the Anatolian religion is going to be reduced a lot. But this project is going to be quite big, and it'll take a long time. It's taken since the war actually to carry out, but it's now pretty much been fully completed. As the Red Religion will regain back all of this land here, a pretty large chunk of it, and yeah, Blue Team is going to gain pretty much all of their old lands back for their religion, and now they're looking better. And the Purple Team is going to get all of this. The Purple Religion is going to get all of this now, making them better. Caspian Religion is going to get this, and I have made them a brighter yellow because it just looks better. And finally, the Russian Religion is going to get all of this land, and yeah, okay, so that's nice now. And we have finally seen religions get put back, even though it's not good. But I mean, it's not good either way. They were both in the wrong. I mean, I guess the Anatolians have been more in the wrong since they did it first, but who cares? As everything is back to normal now, and I also want to say another thing quickly. This isn't a branch of this religion down here. It's completely own religion. It's known as Scandinavianism or Nordicism. It's really a tribal religion, but yeah. And the Anatolians now are just, I don't know, they're just sad, I guess. I mean, not really, but who cares? They really don't care. Obviously, they do about the religion getting genocided, but like, they did it first, and people are being like showed the horrors. It's kind of like what happened with Germany after World War II, but yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been one of our longest episodes yet, I believe. It's been nearly 20 minutes, and I guess the war was just longer, but, I mean, shush. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I've enjoyed recording these recently. These have been a blast to record and edit, since all I really have to do is watch it now, because it's a pause button I've discovered. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.